into Bills Post-Game Live. We are presented by Wesley, Clark, and Peshkin, your divorce and estate planning attorneys. Your family is our business. Maddy Glab joined by our Bills legend, Steve Tasker, and the Buffalo Bills defeat the New York Jets 20-12. This game came down to the final seconds when the Jets had a chance with 20 seconds left on the clock, and it was a turnover on downs thanks to A.J. Epinesa. Had a chance to tie the game, but the Buffalo Bills defense, they showed up again. They were strong throughout the game against a really tough quarterback who fought for the Jets. Mike White was in there. He took some blows. The defense had 4 sacks, a few forced fumbles there. A.J. Epinesa, Greg Rousseau, some of the young guns on defense, on the defensive line that needed to step up in Von Miller's absence. They answered. It was a weird one on offense for both sides of the ball because the Bills went 5 straight drives where they did not score. They were able to get on the board right before halftime, but it took a while for this offense to get going. You had that wintry mix throughout the entire game, which kind of stalled what both offenses were able to do, but the Bills came out on top in this one. A big game for the Bills. Steve, as you watched this game unfolded and some of the weirdness of the first half, what are some of your takeaways from how the Bills performed today?
Well, I think early on, the Bills' offense struggled against a really good front, as we thought it was going to be a tough game up front for the Bills, and it was. Quinnen Williams going down in this game, I think, really hurt the Jets' ability to get the kind of penetration they wanted. He had 2 sacks before he left in the first quarter. The guy was unbelievable. The Bills go in halftime. I don't think it's any doubt that when Quinnen Williams went out, the Bills started to have some progress and got a touchdown just before halftime. Gave him the lead for the first time in the game. Drop passes were an issue in this game. The wind was wet. It was a little windy, started snowing later. The Bills' drops were huge in this game, I thought. And the Bills' defense, no question. If you're gonna hold the Jets to 10 points offensively, they got 12 overall. One was a safety with a block punt.
Yes.
But if you're going to hold the offense of your opponent to 10 points, you're going to win the game, and that's what the Bills' defense did.
The Jets were allowing under 20 points a game. The Bills score 20 points in this one. I think another key factor in that win, getting over 20 points against a really tough defense, a top 10 defense. We're going to break it all down. We're going to hear from a lot of our players and relive a lot of the highlights in this one. So first off, we're going to send it over to Josh Allen because he's on the podium answering some questions right now.
Trying to get that.
I think we hurt ourselves early on, whether it be decisions or penalty here or there, just kind of put us out of funk and put us into some second and third and long situations, which we got to stay out of. I don't know what we were on third down tonight, but I know it wasn't good. So it's something we got to clean up on, and obviously typically during the season we're good on third down. So again, credit to those guys. They came out and played hard.
Josh, you got a little something going out of empty when you spread them out, the big pass out of empty. What do you think about that, spreading them out, helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a quarterback, you love to have, that type of offense where you can see everything, and we felt like the empty was going to give them some fits in terms of, the coverages that they would check into and where our guys were located out on the field. So we just kind of rode that for a while, and it was pretty beneficial for us.
Hey Josh, the play where Dawson got under center through the penalty, how often do you guys practice that?
It's been every Saturday for maybe the last 11, 12 weeks. I thought it was a heck of a call, and I'm just glad we got it. Those are the good ones. I think we scored on that drive too. So, did we?
Yeah. That was my follow-up, the touchdown to Dawson.
Yeah. Again, guys doing their job. He gets a guy to jump off sides and ends with the touchdown, and obviously ran a heck of a route and made a heck of a Superman heroic performance type dive there to get in. So again, guys just want to win football games here.
Josh, obviously saved for both teams, but would you concede that was a tough day to play offense?
For sure, but again, it was tough for them too. I don't think the elements were all that out of the ordinary for here. I think it's something that we've practiced in before, we've played in before. We just got to find a way to be better.
Yeah, touchdown run again. Was that kind of like they pulled and cleared the way for you? Did you see pre-snap look good to you, or how to just describe that?
Yeah, it's just it's really just a read off that defensive end there, and I felt like he got some width with James and just followed the guys in. That's all it was.
Josh, the long run that ended in the hurdle, can you take us through that play? And it seemed like you needed all the hurdle there to get the first down.
Yeah, I guess so. Third down, obviously, I think it was 3rd and 12 or 13, stepped up. I felt like they were in man coverage. Just started going, and there was just somebody kind of there. I didn't know where anybody else was at behind me to my right side, so I didn't feel comfortable kind of, putting my shoulder down. Not to say that jumping over anybody's any better, but yeah, worked out.
You're concerned that this playing in those 2-minute scenarios, it feels like you guys on offense have a lot of success. After the Mosley jump off sides, you guys kind of clicked at that point.
Yeah, I just think we're so well equipped in terms of what we do in our offense. Some of the play calls that we have, how we're able to get to the line of scrimmage fairly quickly and call some exotic pass plays. And I think that just kind of, again, when you're going 2-minute on the ball and the defenses are sitting there, typically they can't get into anything exotic. They got to get ready for the ball to be snapped. So I think it just puts them on their heels a little bit. And again, we've got so many different ways we can get the ball to our guys in those types of situations that I think it's a pretty big help for us.
This offense has struggled to find its rhythm for about 6 games now. Is that a concern for you?
No, we're 10-3. Finding ways to win football games, and that's not what you want to hear, but just playing complementary, smart football. Not putting ourselves and our defense in bad situations, and just trying to win football games no matter how it happens.
It doesn't look like an offense that's going to be enough to win the Super Bowl right now.
Okay.
Josh, on you speak about the exotic looks. One thing one nice little wrinkle, Stephon Diggs coming out of the backfield probably was the biggest play of the game on that 32 yards. Why not go back to that after you found some good success?
Again, we just understand the flow of the game, the type of weather that we were getting. Again, not making bad decisions and just allowing our defense to go out there and play free and not put them in bad situations.
How much of a factor was when Quinn Williams went out? I mean, that's a great player. You had to score, but then on the field. I know you're not going to pin that on the win, but was that kind of a key point in the game that happened?
Well, one, I hope he's okay. I don't know the extent of the injury. He's a heck of a player. He really is, and he's a nice guy on the football field too. We were talking a little bit before. Obviously, he went down there, but he's a heck of a competitor, heck of a player. I'm sure anytime you lose somebody like that on your defense, it's going to hurt.
Dawson had a big play today. He had a big one in Kansas City, but it's been less of those than a year ago. Has his role been different, in your opinion? Do you think it's been different things needed from him, and maybe that's why there hasn't been as many big plays from him?
I think every game, the flow of it's different. Incorporating different guys, obviously trying to switch it up. He's been doing such a good job in our run game, in our pass protection. But again, you see the type of weapon he is with the ball in his hand. So, again, just finding new ways to get him the ball and allow our guys to make some plays for us. Thank you, guys.
All right, it's time for this week's Player Spotlight. Our Player Spotlight is presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills, and we've got to give a big shout-out today to Greg Rousseau and what he was able to do for this Bills defense. A big factor in the Bills being able to get off the field multiple times. So, Steve, why is he our spotlight today?
Well, he did such a nice job. He held it on his first sack. He held the edge, make sure that the quarterback couldn't escape. Got the late sack on Mike White as he avoided pressure up the middle. Great penetration by Ed Oliver, and as White tries to outrun the defense, Rousseau just tracks him down. And then later on, the huge play where Greg Rousseau comes from the near side, gets up and under, and watch as he pushes the back, and then comes underneath the guard and the defensive tackle, hits Mike White as he's got the ball up. The ball pops loose, and it's a turnover going the other way. First turnover of the game, and it was a giant one just when the Bills needed it. And and of course, Daquan Jones falls on it down inside. Two huge plays by Greg Rousseau. Had a great game today. A sack strip fumble for the turnover was one of the big plays. Led to 2 turnovers in the game. And then at the very end, they also had a turnover on downs. Of course, he also had a screen pass that on a third down that made the Jets punt the ball away as well. So Greg Rousseau had a tremendous game.
It was back-to-back plays where he had a sack, and then I think the next play he was able to bat that pass down. Incredible game from him. It was great to see A.J. Epinesa show up as well. Like I said in the open, these are two players who we were needing to see more from overall in the season. But when you're out, when Von Miller is not going to be a part of this lineup anymore, and you still want to get that type of pressure from your front four, these are two players, two young players who it is time to show up, and it's been awesome to see Greg Rousseau really grow a lot in this defense. He was out a little bit during the season dealing with that ankle injury, but he has came on strong. His presence was known today, as well as A.J. Epinesa's. Why is this performance so important for this team going forward?
I'll tell you why, because Vaughn wasn't there, but the effect that he has had on these young players was there. They really stepped up today in Von Miller's. Now, he wasn't there last week, but I think this is the week where he found out there's no cavalry coming over the hill. Vaughn's not coming back into the game this year. And the things they've gotten, the mindset he's instilled in them, the kind of work ethic he's put forth, and the kind of film study he's helped them gain. When the team needed it in moments, Ed Oliver was there, Greg Rousseau was there, A.J. Epinesa was there, DeQuan Jones was there. Ed Oliver was big in this game. The first sack that Greg Rousseau got,
Ed Oliver had the pressure.
Oliver had the penetration. All of those guys working together and getting the penetration and playing at the high level they did was the big difference today in holding the Jets to 10 points offensively. It was a huge day for that young defensive line.
Yeah, heading into this game, the Bills were allowing 17.4 points per game. That ranks top 4 in the NFL. They allowed 12 overall today, so under their average. Great to see against an AFC East team. Like we said, this past week, the week before, and this upcoming week for the Buffalo Bills are very, very important in terms of playoff seeding and their AFC East division title hopes as well. We've got some other players on the podium, so we're going to get to Greg Rousseau and Jordan Poyer.
Plays, turnovers, you got a couple sacks. It was a bad day for offense today. Talk about how important it was for the defense to make some of those big plays.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's always important, to go out there and hold it down. So, I mean, us up front, we try to get off the ball every single play and do our 111th, and we got dogs behind us like Poe, and then we know they're going to handle up. So, I mean, it's team defense. It's not one without the other. So, yeah, we got it done.
So how much more accountability did you guys take going into this game, knowing you without Von Miller, knowing you guys needed to step up? Was there an increased level of accountability?
we know we got to step up, but Von's still with us. He's still paying attention. He's still in our meetings on the phone and Zoom, all that stuff. So I mean, like we're doing it. We're doing it for him. We're doing it for us. So I mean, we don't see it as he's out. We just see it as we got to step up, do our 111th out there, and make plays and get the job done.
Jordan, you've watched a lot of different pass rush groups in your time in Buffalo. What did you see from the unit today that allowed you guys in the secondary to have some success?
Same thing they've been doing all season, man. It was us in the secondary literally going to just give them a half a second, give them an extra half a second to get to the quarterback. We're just trying to hold our end on the back end, and like guys like Greg, AJ, DQ coming up with the huge plays today. And we knew it was going to be a test. That's a good football team coming in here, and we played well defensively, and we want to continue moving forward.
Jordan, how frustrating it would have been. I mean, obviously, defense played well today, but third and long has been a problem. And they gave them a lot of extra plays today. They a bunch of them.
Yeah.
How much of a concern is that?
I wouldn't say it's a concern. It's definitely a point of emphasis, though. There's probably some things that we as players could do better on the back end. Whether it's where our eyes are or just fundamentals or technique. I wouldn't say it's a concern, but it is definitely a point of emphasis. We got to be able to get off the field on third and long. When we get them in those situations are situations we should be licking our chops at. And so we'll look at the tape and figure out different ways that whether it's fundamentally or whether it's technique or whether it's our eyes to get off the field.
Greg, on the sack of Flacco, it looked like somebody else flushed him your way because he turned around and all of a sudden you were in his lap. Could you see who was forcing him your way when you got him there?
Nah, for me, I was just rushing. I went speed to power, started off with, I was on a double swipe. I felt that it was kind of oversetting me, and I just came underneath. But I know for sure the secondary obviously holding up, and then I got 3 other dogs out there with me rushing. So, I mean, it's really our mentality is kind of like 4=1. I can win on one side, if somebody else can win. Then if somebody else isn't doing their job, then the quarterback just gets flushed out and runs away. So it's 4=1 every single play we make.
Greg, did it feel like you guys were getting more effective as the game was going on?
Yeah, I feel like with any game, with anything in life, you kind of get a rhythm. And like you said, as the game goes on, we were definitely getting more comfortable. I know they were giving us a lot of chip looks, so sometimes that's something that could kind of like throw us off a little bit. But for the most part, yeah, we were getting after it.
I think, acknowledging, I think you got hurt in the first meeting with the Jets this year, if I'm not mistaken, but looking at the tape, this, and Jordan, for you too, I mean, when that game was on the line, they ran it on you guys in New York. There was a line of scrimmage situation where they took advantage. Today, it seemed like there was a mentality that you guys weren't going to let that happen.
Yeah, 100%. We always go out there with that mentality. Sometimes it doesn't go the way we want it to go, but it's always that man-whooping-man mentality, that just doing our 111, stopping the run, affecting the quarterback, and taking the ball away mentality week after week. It doesn't really change for us.
Jordan, you feel the defense is getting back to where it was last year? You led the league in just about every category.
Yeah, I feel like we're hitting strides. We're still obviously wanting to continue to get better. There's some, like I said, third and longs. We definitely want to be able to get off the field in those situations. But we're trending in the right direction. It was a good football team that we beat today. We got another good football team coming in here next week that we got to prepare well, and we're going to have to play extremely well to win. So, we're going to enjoy this one tonight, and then we're going to move forward and turn the page tomorrow.
Sure, it seems like in the second half, Coach Frazier was dialing it up with the blitzes. How much do you guys welcome that challenge?
Whatever Frazier calls, we run it. I mean, if he wants to start dialing up blitzes and pressure's getting there, we got to hold it down on the back end. That's just, we bring in 5. That means, there's a lot of one-on-ones on the outside. So, Dane had a hell of a game. There's probably some plays he want back, but he made a huge play at the end of the game. We just want, like I said, want to keep trending in the right direction. This is December football, and this is where you want to play your best ball.
Times, guys, when it seems like there's 2 Matt Milanos on the field.
Always, yeah. That definitely seems like it. And he got to catch the ball, though. He knows that.
You hit Mike White a lot. Did it?
I didn't hit him. He hit him a lot. Yeah.
Does it ever surprise you when a guy keeps coming back like that?
Look, I got a lot of respect for Mike. That guy, you saw him on the ground. He was taking some hits. He kept coming back, and he kept battling for his team. So a lot of respect for Mike. And, like I said, that's a good football team. Those guys, they probably want some throws or some plays that they had back. But, we're fortunate enough to come out with a victory. And like I said, we want to keep trending in the right direction.
Jordan, would you concede that in a day like the conditions the way they were, was that conducive for the defense more than the offense? I mean, you guys played good, there's no doubt, but it seems like you guys have a little bit of an advantage when it's that miserable.
It probably depends on who you're asking. I don't like being cold, but it is part of the game. I remember when I was in Cleveland, the first time I came to Buffalo, it was a late December game, and it was snow on the ground. You flying in, and you just see nothing but snow, and then you get off the plane, and that wind chill hits your face. Sometimes that might play a factor as soon as teams step off the plane. So we like to embrace it. We know our crowd's right behind us, and rain, sleet, or snow, they're gonna be there, loud as hell, and cheering us on.
Jordan, Tre'Davious White rounding into shape. We saw him following Garrett Wilson at least early in the game. What have you seen from him these past couple of weeks as his play has increased? Do you see the old Trey out?
Yeah, Trey's a guy when I ain't got no worries on that side of the field. He plays the hardest position on the field. The catches are going to get made. Tre'Davious is a guy who likes to take a lot of pride in his craft, and that's an all-pro corner that we have out there. And him getting back into it it puts a lot of pressure off a lot of us on the back end, even up front. So we're glad to have him back, and we're excited moving forward with him.
Circling back to what you said a couple minutes ago about hitting your stride, this is the second week in a row you've held another team to just 1 touchdown.
Is it? Yeah. Damn, I forgot about that one. What are you asking?
Is that another example of your hitting your stride?
Yeah, like I said, we just want to keep trending in the right direction. There's some plays that we all probably wish we had back. I know I wish I had a couple plays back, but that's the NFL, that's the game. It's not going to be perfect, but we are hitting the strides at the right time, and we want to keep, like I said, trending in the right direction.
Rick, how much you and A.J. Espinoza feed off each other out there? Because A.J. was out there running around.
A.J. is a dog. When I came in, it was his second year. He's helped me out with a lot of stuff too, just learning everything. And like I said, out there, he's a dog. All of us are dogs up front. Me, AJ, Boogie, Shaq Lawson. You see the effect that we can have on the game, and we just got to keep on stepping up down the stretch.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, that was Greg Rousseau and Jordan Poyer, this week's game sponsors. Independent Health. Independent Health is an official health and wellness partner of the Buffalo Bills. And I want to talk a little offense here before we go to our next player. The Bills had 232 total yards on offense. We knew this was going to be tough sledding because of the rain, because of the snow. I didn't think we thought that the offense was going to completely pop in this one. They really struggled on third down, though, which is what I want to discuss. And the Jets really limited what the Bills were able to do. Stephon Diggs was a non-factor in this game. Dawson Knox was the leading receiver. They convert 15% of their third downs, go 2 of 13. Heading into this game, this was the best third down offense in the NFL, converting third downs 51% of the time. The Jets just did not make that happen for the Buffalo Bills today. What did the Jets do so well on defense? What were they doing to really eliminate factors for the Buffalo Bills on offense and slow this offense down? They didn't really get into a rhythm until the end of the first half.
Yeah, well, the Jets are a good defense, no question. They're good up front, and that's a problem when you want to run the football and get ahead of the sticks. One of the things that happened in this game in particular was there are two things. One was the weather, and the other was penalties, self-induced penalties.
Yeah.
We had a ton of holding penalties, false starts. They were very sloppy in the early going of this football game. It looked like they'd been off for 3 weeks, not just 10 days. They looked rusty, and it took them a while. In fact, Josh really kind of came into his own after he ran that third down long conversion. He got flipped up in the air and he came down. That seemed to get him back into the game, and it seemed to pick up everybody else as well. But they were sloppy up until that point. So I think that's one of the, they got off to a very slow start. And their own self-inflicted penalties, dropped passes, and third and longs really got them in. Their inability to run the football effectively against the front four of the Jets early on was huge. And when the Jets kind of loosened up, Quinnen Williams went out of the game. The Jets started playing a front that was a little wide 9, where they spread out a little bit, and the Bills had some success running up right up inside later in the game. But up front, I think that's what did it. It was the conditions, self-inflicted penalties, and the quality of the Jet defense.
Yeah.
They got some guys over there, and we knew that going in. You knew this wasn't going to be a 43-40 game, even outside the weather because of the two defenses. But I think that's it. Those three factors: the quality of the Jet defense, the drop passes, and the penalties for the Bills offense.
Jets defense, they were allowing 18 points a game heading into this game. Pass defense, run defense ranked top 10. They ranked top 3 in terms of quarterback hits, had around 90 heading into this game. So it's a team that puts a lot of pressure on the opposing offense, and you see that in the way that teams have struggled to score on the Jets pretty much all season. They've got some really good young players. This is going to be a good defense for a long time with the way that they've drafted over the last few years, thus the New York Jets. We're going to keep going offense here. We talked about offense, so let's hear from an offensive player, Dawson Knox. He had a flipping touchdown into the end zone. It was wild to watch. A little Josh Allen impression there. He did a good job with it. So here's Dawson.
That might have been one of my favorite plays ever in the league. Just to get under center, throwback to the high school days. But it's just a great scheme by Coach Dorsey. Showing me going in motion and getting under the center real quick. The defense is thinking for sure, QB sneak, tight end sneak, whatever you want to call it. So get up under there, give them a second, give a loud cadence. And I got C.J. Mosley flying over like Troy Polamalu. So that was a fun play to get a first down.
Flash before your eyes.
I was just, in my mind, I'm like, gotcha. But then I'm like, got to take a hit. But it was fun getting the fans going like that.
When's the last time you ever done a half gainer into the end zone?
That was the first for me. Kind of made me think about that. I think it was against the 49ers a couple years ago when Steph had a great block. I had to jump over a guy, but went a full flip. So thankfully this time I didn't land right on my head. But I was just glad it turned out to be a touchdown.
Is Josh starting to rub off on you with these little leaps that you did?
He pulls them off a little cleaner than I do. I got to learn how to go off 1 foot. I think I went off 2. But, anytime you can try to be like Josh, good things happen.
Can you, Doctor, can you explain a little bit of the offensive struggles today? I know it wasn't great conditions. They're very good, but this was a rough day for a long time for the offense, especially the first half.
Yeah. The Jets' defense is obviously very talented across the board. And anytime you got weather conditions like this, it definitely affects the offense a little bit, just because, we got the best quarterback in the league, the best receiver in the league. So stuff like timing, the ball's always wet, the wind's whipping. You got, I don't know if you call that snow or rain or a little bit of mix, but it's naturally just going to affect the game a little bit. But it just took some good play calling by Doris, some good execution across the board, and a win's a win, whether it's by 1 or 100.
Hey, Dawson, back to the tight end sneak. Was it the intention to snap it?
No. We had a pretty good feeling we were going to draw them off sides. There was a cadence that I could have given to get the ball that I really wanted to use, but maybe next time, yeah.
Dawson, just run us through your touchdown play, because it was a well-executed play called up by Dorsey. Y'all went out there and executed it. Just take us back to your touchdown.
Yeah, so we just, it's essentially just levels off to the right. Got a guy going deep, a guy in the flat, and me kind of right in the middle. So it was, they were in some type of zone to where that middle opened up perfectly. Just good execution across the board, good protection. And when I caught it and turned upfield, thankfully there was no one there. And then when I see a couple guys at the end zone goal line, I'm like, I got to get in. And so just took off, hoping for the best.
Hasn't been as productive as a season as you had a season ago. First touchdown since week 8. I know you guys are winning games and all is well that ends well, but has there been any internal frustration, maybe experiencing a setback in production this year?
Yeah, I think that frustration is going to be natural anytime you're not directly producing like you can. But, we're winning games, so I'm happy. If I have 0 catches and we're winning games, that just means I'm doing my job, doing other things besides catching the ball. So that's just the nature of the tight end position. You got to block when that's called. Sometimes you're in pass protection. Sometimes you're getting other guys open in route concepts. So it just comes to when your call or when your number's called. There's a few plays in the second half I want back. When the ball's thrown to me, I need to make plays on it. But it's just, if we're winning games, I'm happy.
Dawson, just to follow up on.
All right, that was Dawson Knox. He was the leading receiver, 4 catches, 41 yards. He had that incredible touchdown reception, flipping into the end zone, had that big play on 4th and 1 to draw the Jets off sides. That was the first drive that the Bills actually scored on heading into halftime with just a minute to go on that 4th and 1 play. The Bills were able to get a first down. Why are tiny plays like that really important to the overall game when you look at how things came together?
Yeah, getting that touchdown before halftime was absolutely enormous, and the play call he mentioned it was the first thing he said coming out of his interview was the fake quarterback sneak that drew the Jets off sides when he was going in motion, stopped, acted like he was going to take a quick snap from center. All that stuff goes into games like this. You knew points were going to be at a premium. The game was going to be very close, and you just got to make one more play than the other team.
Right.
And the Bills made a number of them today. It was enough for the win.
Dawson Knox, it was great to see him get going. It hasn't been the season that he had last year. He had a lot of touchdowns. He was a huge red zone target for the Bills last year because of his size, because he's such a big mismatch. He still is a mismatch, but he hasn't had the same role on offense this year. How have you noticed that role change and maybe how he stepped up today when the Bills needed somebody on offense?
Yeah, I think this offense is different than it was a year ago or than it was on Brian Daboll. I don't know that any other guy you can name at the number 2 wide receiver would have had a better year than Gabe Davis has had, because the opportunities are being really heavily gone to Steph Diggs. Dawson Knox, same thing. Certainly you can point back to a drop here, a drop there, or a missed throw by Josh here and there. But this offense, I think, is clicking in a way that I think it's planned on. I think this is what they think their offense should look like. They need to have an alpha dog wide out in Steph Diggs. They've got him. Everybody else supports him, and it supports Josh. Josh, even in the running game. Devin Singletary, James Cook, even the fact that we haven't seen Nyheim Hines much in the running game, and we saw McKenzie run one today.
Yep.
All this is the offense, I think, that they're kind of doing. They're going to win games now. And I think they're starting, like we saw it coming into this game, they were starting to explore the run game a little bit more. I don't think they've got all their offense unfurled, all of it, because they haven't needed it to this point of the season. Certainly they've lost some games, and you think, wow, they should have done it. But the games they've lost, weren't because their offense wasn't, the stuff they had in their offense wasn't working. So I think Dawson Knox is exactly where they want to be right now. I think he's running routes. I think he's getting the separation they want. And the opportunities he's got, certainly a drop here and a drop there today, even on that last third down or the first down play coming out of the punt when the Jets gave it back to the Bills late. He might have had that. It was a contested catch on that little bootleg that Josh came out of that short yardage play. I think they're doing the things they want to do offensively right now. And I think I'm with a lot of people, though. I think there's a lot of things we have not seen from this offense that I think they can use. They really haven't felt forced to do that yet because I think the problems they've had have been self-inflicted and execution problems on them. I don't think they've really felt like anybody's outplayed them outside of the Jets at certain points in both those games.
Ken Dorsey's up in the box going, ha, 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 just wait until the end of the season until I show you what I can do. I think there is a little bit of offense. Yeah, there's so many weapons on this team. We haven't seen everybody have that game yet, get super involved in that game yet. And it's really worked for Stephon Diggs this season. It's worked for this offense. They are 10-3. They have a really important game next week against the Miami Dolphins. So it's been a different guy every week. The run game has started to get going. I would expect that to continue as the weather keeps getting colder and colder. But we're going to finish things off here this afternoon with a little bit of Sean McDermott. So let's send it over to him and hear what he had to say about this big win against the Jets.
Good to get a win. Good to get a win in the division, in particular against a good football team, well-coached team. They played extremely hard. It plays extremely hard. I thought Tyler Bass was really good today in tough conditions. Defense really stepped up. Played a physical ball game, took the ball away, and was able to seal the game down the stretch there. And then the offense, I thought, got into a rhythm before half, and Dorsey and the offensive staff made some adjustments, and then we started clicking a little bit there. Overall, plenty to work on, starting with fundamentals and then some things, obviously, that didn't go our way we got to get better at. So we've got a short week with the Dolphins coming in here. So with that, I'll turn it over to you. Let me sorry, real quick, Jerry. I thought the crowd also was outstanding. Great atmosphere in Buffalo here, and you can tell how important this is to the fans. So great to hear them like we did today. Sorry.
One of the things you need to get better at, getting into a rhythm earlier, because there's been a lot in the last 6 games of just not getting into it quick enough. Yeah. Listen, they're a good defense, so I'll start there and give them the credit. But, overall, not enough early enough for us. Fundamentally, we dropped some passes. We were off the mark a little bit earlier with our passing game, and then we just got to do a better job being more consistent there.
So you talked about a physical play of the defensive front in particular. I remember talking in New York after they kind of rained it on you late. You talked about winning the battle on the line of scrimmage. How would you assess that part of the game?
Yeah, again, without looking at the film, it was what we were looking for.
Sean, the Knox play where he was under center to draw the penalty, what made this the right week to try that in that situation?
Just felt like, situationally that was the best call for us right there. I thought it was a great design by the offensive staff, and the players executed there. So it was good situational football.
As a follow-up on his touchdown pass, how big are his impact plays going to be down the stretch after his first touchdown?
Dawson? Yeah. I mean, it's important that we complement each other, not just offensively and defensively and special teams, but also within our offense, that different guys are stepping up, and when their number's called, you're expected to make the play.
Sean, your defense made plays, kept them out of the end zone late, but you talk a lot about finishing games, both offense and special teams. Yeah. What did you see there? You had obviously the block punt late, and then the offense not able to get what you need to maybe put it away before it goes back.
Yeah, we got to. All three. We got to look at that and be objective, be very objective about that, and be truthful, and whether it's the punt team in that situation or the offense, and making sure we can put the game away. We had an opportunity there, I think, on the first throw, and so again, that starts with me putting them in position, and then just being fundamentally better in those situations. So that's important that we continue to grow in that area for sure.
It's more than just 2 guys on defense today, obviously, Coach, but Rousseau and Milano look like the tip of your spear today. Can you just comment on those guys just making plays?
Yeah, I mean they were preparing all week. And that's really where it started, was they were getting themselves in the right mindset. They were putting the time in to come out and play with that type of fire. It was fun to watch.
Obviously, Sean, the decision to throw on first down there at the end is made with the mindset that a first down wins the game for you. But what gave you the confidence in that situation to throw as opposed to making them use all three of their timeouts there?
Yeah, I trust my players. Trust our players, and we had a good play call there and liked it, and just got to execute a little bit better right there.
How much would you say the conditions impacted things offensively? You seem to have some drops today. Do you think the weather factored in there?
No, that wasn't because of the weather. We just got to be better fundamentally.
Sean, what does it say about Matt Milano, the way that he played today after missing practice almost the entire week?
Yeah, he's tough as nails. Guys love him for it. We got a bunch of guys, that have been out. Guys playing hurt. Not just Matt, but Matt had a busy week in the training room and goes out there and plays his butt off for his teammates. So I applaud him for it.
Hey, Sean, when last week you had Xavier start at corner for you, this week he was a healthy scratch. What was the reason there to kind of shift things around at corner again?
Just trying to put our best guys out there. Just looking at things and trying to put our best 11 out there so we can play our best football.
Coach, care to talk about the way Shaq Ross and A.J. Espinosa and Ed Oliver played in Brownell's absence today?
I thought the D-line overall, you could feel them, to the earlier question. So I haven't, looked at the stat sheet and who got what. But when you're playing hard, you're coming off the ball, you're establishing the line of scrimmage. I don't know what they got a couple runs on us there, but to stop the run, it's the entire defense, not just the defensive line. So we'll look at those. But I could feel that defensive line, and it looked like we hit the quarterback a couple times too.
Coach, how big of a play was Hamlin's that forced fumble?
Yeah, it was huge. Both takeaways. I think Daquan got one right early, or at least he recovered it, and then DeMar's forced fumble, and I think when Matt got that one. So good things happen when you finish plays, and you finish plays the right way with violent hands, and you run to the ball. Good things happen.
What were your impressions of the secondary's performance today? Trey White rounding into form. Do you see him returning to his full efficacy here? And how about Dane Jackson? Seems like he's struggled a bit in recent weeks. That may continue today.
Again, the ball was being spread around, it looked like. I thought Trey had some good plays. I thought Dane made some good plays. So, as a corner, you got to have a short memory. And the most important thing is you stay mentally tough and you battle. And it looked like both of those guys were battling out there.
Fans seem to live play a lot of times. I think we've talked about that over the years. Dane struggled at times, but you talk about trusting your players. Do you just have trust in Dane?
Talk to me about, I'm not sure if do I have trust in Dane Jackson? Yes.
Coach, on that play.
I don't know if you're looking for something else. Yeah. No, I trust all the players. Whether it's Xavier, I think, Joe, you asked about X being down this week. Doesn't mean we don't trust him. It's the way it is. We can only dress so many, and we go back to work and practice this week, and we'll see how it ends up next game. So
when a player may be going through some struggles, do you look back on the extent of his track record with you as opposed to maybe a short blip when relying on making that decision moving forward? Do you look at the overall track record maybe more so than an identifiable segment here?
You look at everything, just like you guys make decisions, right? You try and do the best job you can of making a good, thorough decision by weighing everything, and some things obviously are weighted more than others, and you just do the best you can. There's no crystal ball. I wish there were. It'd make the job a lot easier, that's for sure.
Sean, there were a couple times defensively where you guys did a great job on first and second down, put them way behind the sticks, and gave up a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. How is that fixable, I guess, is the question.
Well, again, you got to start with giving them credit. They're going to make some plays. They've got a good receiving core, and I thought the tight end or the quarterback made some good throws in the midst of getting hit quite a bit. But that's something we'll definitely look at. And those 3rd and longs. I think we were one of the tops in the NFL last year, and this year not so much. So it's something we got to continue to work on, and the execution, the plan, the leverage and coverage, and it's got to work together there. So
it seemed like you had a good look on the play that you threw the challenge flag. Was that from upstairs that you got word to throw it, or was that?
No. At the end of the day, it's on me, right? So I just felt like had 3 timeouts. Don't love a ton using those in the second half, right? In case you need it, but we felt like we were in a pretty good spot, and they had just gotten a first down, so I thought it was reasonable challenge to affect maybe the rhythm and just slow it down a little bit, you know. So they're looking to get in a little bit of a passing offense and just kind of change up the rhythm a little bit.
What can you say about your defense? Second week in a row, they've only given up one touchdown.
Yeah, again, I thought, you know, they did a good job putting the players in position, and the players came out hungry, you know. So, just a good team defensive effort, I thought, overall. A lot of guys getting to the ball, a lot of guys contributing both run and pass.
Are they hungry to prove they can be the defense they were last year, even without Vaughn, obviously?
That's probably a better question for them.
What do you see in them? Do you sense that in them, that they don't like the fact that the world thinks without Vaughn they aren't going to be good enough?
We'll see. We'll see. Right?
Anything health-wise now, Coach? Any report on health?
Yeah, I don't know much. Haven't visited with Nate here, so no, that's it. Glory to God, man. Thank him for the win, and great to be a part of it here. Anything else? We're good. Thanks, guys.
Sean McDermott making sure everybody knows they're going to be on a short week. This season for this team has just been incredible in terms of short weeks, long weeks. It seems like there are way more short weeks than there are normal or long weeks. It was the first 1 o'clock home game since November 13th. It is, December 11th today.
It's been a month,
so
yeah.
It's been a month since this team has had a 1 o'clock kick, which is what they are used to previous seasons. Not really anymore, because this team has played so well that people want them in that nighttime slot. They're going to get that next week as they play Saturday against Miami Dolphins. A little bit of Saturday night lights. Love it. And then they'll go Saturday after that against the Chicago Bears Christmas Eve day game. So as we prepare for this Miami Dolphins game, as we prepare for another tough AFC East team, this division has been hard to play in this season because of the growth of so many teams in this division, with the Dolphins and the Jets and the youth, but how the youth has turned over and how the youth has improved in a lot of ways in the division. What do the Bills need to get right in this short week before the Miami Dolphins come in here in a cold game? It's going to be cold. It's not going to be Miami weather.
Yeah, we'll talk about a lot on Bills tonight, but I think one of the keys to this is the conditions are going to be the conditions. We got 2 home games, 2 away games. The away games are even in Chicago and Cincinnati. It's not like they're going south. So it's going to be 4 more games, and the conditions are going to dictate how much offense you can play, particularly here. But what the Bills need to do is put this game away, put it to bed, get started on Miami Dolphins. They're coming in. They're going to have speed. They're going to have a quarterback that's extremely accurate. They are playing very well, are the Miami Dolphins. For the Bills, as always, when they get to this level, when you're the Super Bowl favorite and you're the 1 seed in the conference this late in the season, it's about you. The Bills need to worry about the Bills. Don't turn it over. Don't take penalties, and execute the plays that are called to a level that has become commensurate with your standing in the National Football League. You didn't do that today for a quarter and a half, maybe almost 2 quarters of this game. The Bills could not execute their offense well enough to win this game. They got it together and scored 20 points, 13 of which were in the second half. But they got to do it. It's about them. And as long as they remember that and come in ready to play from the get-go, they'll be better off. But I think that's job 1 this week. At this point of the season, it's about the Bills, not as much about the Dolphins or the Bears or the Bengals or even the Patriots.
Yeah, and a lot of tough losses this season for this team. I mean, it's been about them. It's been about them shooting themselves in the foot in the worst scenarios or when they really need it and they weren't able to come up with it, whether that's a 3rd down conversion, whether that's getting a touchdown, whether that's heading into the locker room up at half.
Whether it's executing a quarterback sneak for no gain to win the game, and they couldn't get that done against Minnesota. They couldn't do it. They turned it over, and it was a touchdown for the other team. It couldn't have gone catastrophically more wrong than that. Or a touchdown, or a pass where all you needed to do was bat it away instead of trying to catch it, and it ends up you help the receiver catch it, keeps the drive alive, and you lose. Stuff like that is
There's been some plays where you go
maddening.
like this.
Pretty
but
maddening in some of the losses.
hopefully against this upcoming game against the Dolphins, the Bills won't be in a situation where it comes down to that last final drive. If you remember week 3 when the Bills headed to Miami, it was that super scorcher of a game. It was so hot. Miami had the advantage in that one because the Bills were on the sideline where the sun was just beaming on them the entire game. They were so tired after the game. It was such a hard-fought game by the Bills. They lost 21-19. This upcoming one, it'll be the Bills' advantage because right now 50% chance of snow in the forecast. It's going to be in the low 30s for kickoff. 8:15. That's a night game. It's going to be chilly. Not it might be chilly. It's going to be
cold. It'll be downright cold. It's going to be cold. Bundle up, folks. It's going to be a cold one, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Got to give a shout out.
Big games are fun.
Yeah. Before we close out, got to give a shout out to Tyler Bass. He had two big field goals in this game. That 49-yarder
in a snowstorm.
In the snow.
Congratulations, Tyler Bass. That was money.
That was money. Matt Milano, also a money game. That's going to do it for us, though. If you guys want more highlights, more breakdown, more player interviews, make sure you tune in to Bills Tonight on MSG. That's going to air at 11:30. So if you want to stay up late, you know where to find us. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you all next week after the Miami Dolphins game.